What's going on, Mush Puffs? It's your boy, Dead on Dave, coming at you live from Germany, as always. And oh shit, what is happening to my life? We've got the Tomato Man himself here with us. The one, the only Leon Lush is slumming it with Dead on Dave. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what it be, man? How you doing?
What it be, man?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. How are you doing, man? Thank you for being here.
It's a real pleasure, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm doing fantastic, man. Caught me at a good time. I'm feeling pretty good. Just had a video upload. I'm got the day off from work. You know, views are coming in at a decent rate, so I'm just a happy guy all around.
And not really too much to complain about. Just moved into a brand new house. Hit 100K. Congratulations to that, by the way, for both of those things.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that was It had happened very fast. I just had one video that did really well, my Lele Pons video several months ago, and that kind of just kickstarted my growth. And I went from like 32,000 to over 100,000 in like 2 months. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the first time, you know, I've been on and off of YouTube for a decade, almost, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's the first time where I've ever actually been like, oh, all right, this is what it's like. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. And, you know, and it goes, and, you know, you start making a little bit of money, you know, I was making a couple bucks here and there before. You would pay for your cell phone bill or whatever. But now it's at the point where it's like actual real money, like helping pay for my mortgage and shit. So it's pretty cool. But it's about as reliable as a fucking 1986 Chevy Monterey, dude. It's,
sometimes you got to get out and push it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So I still work full time, but we're having fun anyway, so I can't complain.
It's a pretty crazy thing because it almost became this. Like when you did Tommy's show about a year ago, almost a year ago, about 10 months ago it was, you were at like 20,000 subs, 25,000 subs. And we're all kind of embarrassed by the fact that, you know, Tommy had more subs than you. Like he even said it during that interview because it's been long standing, dude. You make amazing shit. Not trying to suck you off or anything, but it's the reality. It's just, you're the one fucking dude that I literally drop what I'm doing to watch because it's always the same. It's like fucking, oh, God damn it. See, what I like about this, and I've gotten this comment before, is basically I'm you if you one day decide to just say, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm just going to let it all go. That there it is. I'm the result of that. So it's
that's kind of what I've gone through so many iterations of content in my life. Like, you know, starting a decade ago as an aspiring musician, uploading a couple covers, my infamous Johnny Cash Hurt cover that's still getting recommended to people somehow 10 years later. And I always get comments like, what the fuck? They were like, I've been getting this recommended to me. I had no idea it was you until I finally clicked on it.
Oh, man.
And then, you know, then I stopped doing YouTube for a long time when I joined the band, and it was more, we tried to do the old school thing and, you know, do the traditional play in bars and get gigs and do small tours and stuff. And that, you know, that would have been great if it was 1991, but unfortunately I did that in fucking 2008. And when it was like just when YouTube was taking off, so my timing couldn't have been worse really. And then we had a great time though. We made like an album, and then eventually I left the band on good terms. I was just getting I was kind of settling in a little bit with my now wife, and wanted to make a couple changes. And I was like, I'm going to take all of this time I've been putting into the band and try and kind of refocus that into building some sort of online identity or brand or whatever that is, whether through music or whatever means. I didn't really know what I was going to do or what I wanted to do at that time. And, that's kind of when I came up with Leon Lush, which is, I mean, it's such a kind of, it knee jerk, such a stupid name, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I've grown to love it. My wife hates it, but I love it.
It's kind of perfect. Yeah. It really is. It is kind of just rolls off the tongue there. It's pretty wonderful. You know, people know, obviously, and you just talked about that you are a musician and all that, but
Yeah.
You know, going back to YouTube, do you find that there is a correlation between the two, or is it just you have to be creating something, so it's just kind of easy for you to do both?
So a correlation between what, the music and like more commentary style stuff?
What type of lessons have you learned from like your music journey and then your commentary journey? And do they ever kind of cross into each other?
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, the lesson that you learn is that, as much as, you know, people love to say, you know, oh, it's all about the content, like how good the content is, and, you know, the cream will rise to the top, and that's not true, man. Like, you have to be topical in a sense, like, and if you know, and it's no secret why everyone that wants to be a musician does covers, because covers will get views and people are searching for those. It's a way to get eyeballs. And then you know, a lot of musicians have built their audience that way. And then once you've built that audience by playing other people's music, you can start to release some of your own originals, etc. And I mean, it's very similar in commentary or comedy, whatever you're doing. You know, you want to try and hit on these pillars, these kind of trending things, and not necessarily, you know, there's a lot of bad connotations to, you know, trending topics on the internet. But for me, it's like, it's not about the topic. Like, talk about whatever you want. It's just about the delivery. It's about how you deliver that topic. You know what I mean? It's like, so someone could have, like, the video I just uploaded today was on some dude that Elvis the Alien and Bionic Pig already made videos on 2.5 months ago, but I had a bunch of people asking me to kind of look at them and make a video, and I was like, fuck it, why not? I'll try and give my take on it, and I think people appreciate that.
I've always hated that criticism of trending topics and all of that. The reality is people can get any type of information, regardless of what type of content it is, anywhere. Everybody's making content. I've bounced all over the place. Did wrestling. I do Pokemon during the day. People can get that shit wherever they want. But the reality is, and you just touched on it, it's a balance. You got to be able to bring something of yourself to the table, and that's what people gravitate towards. That's what they connect with, and that's how you inevitably grow. That's, you know, it's nice to have do the covers, but if your voice still sucks, well, they're not going to really watch anything else other than the cover. But if they're interested in you, they continue on.
Yeah. Exactly. And what kind of relating back to the music portion of it, you know, where for a year I had uploaded some covers many years ago and then nothing really popped off. And then coming back into it, when I think the turning point for me was when I took whatever sort of talents I had musically, like very modest keyboard player, and I started making little songs on Twitter that were relevant to the YouTube community, you know, songs about Leafy, songs about PewDiePie, just that were, you know, short, trying to be kind of funny or clever. And then you kind of mix that with, you know, like a soft ballad style with some lush vocals on top of that. And it kind
lush
of people
vocals,
started to take,
well
people,
done.
Yeah.
Well done.
People started to take notice, and I was like, all right, this makes more sense. So there's that same thing where, like, you kind of have to do stuff that's relevant to people's interests to begin with when nobody knows who you are. And once you have a good group of people that are watching your videos regularly and are coming back and enjoy what you're doing, you can start to get a little more creative and do some more original stuff. But there's always that fear on YouTube of, like, if you miss your upload day, or you go one extra day or one day too long without uploading, you're just going to get banished and exiled out of recommended and never to be heard from again. So there's like this constant pressure to find the balance between doing good content, doing regular content, you know, original versus somewhat unoriginal ideas, and then, you know, mixing that with making it entertaining at the end of the day.
Right. And I think that's where you excel at, because you bring a different style. Your stylization is not the exact same as a lot of the other commentators. I mean, you'll use some of the same tactics as far as, you know, to zoom in, but you always bring something extra with it, an extra sound effect, something a little bit extra zany. And that's what I think a lot of people have kind of picked up on with you. Now, I want to ask, though, why do you think it's taken as long as it has? I mean, the grind has been, your grind is fucking insane. It's been a crazy long grind. Why do you think it's been that way? I mean, there's some people who will, like Keemstar, he's ripped you in the past for no goddamn reason. It's always driven me crazy when he does stuff like that. But why do you think
we've been on pretty good terms for a while now, me and him.
Have you? Holy God.
Well, by good terms, I mean, we just haven't really corresponded. But no, he actually, I'll come back to your question in a second, but he actually had called me a month or so, whenever he was in LA the last time. Skype called me and he wanted me to host Drama Alert or whatever, which tells me that he at least appreciates, my content and my style. And, you know, and the same thing, we've had our differences in the past as well. But I you know, for me personally, is with all the things I can point out about Keemstar, it's like, I am entertained by him sometimes. I have to admit that, you know what I mean? But,
right.
But so anyways, enough about Keemstar. Going back to the grind, for me, it was really, two things. The main two things were finding what you're good at and doubling down on that, and then just consistency. And the biggest thing for me is, you know, for the first 7 or 8 years of YouTube, there was no consistency. I didn't really have a direction. I didn't know what I was doing. I uploaded a few covers here and there, and then when I came back after I left the band, I have a lot of privated videos around this 6-month period where I was just like trying out random shit. I was doing little skits. I even thought I was a social media guru at one point and was doing like tutorials on how to use Snapchat and Instagram. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I think all part of it was that I was trying to be like, you know, put out this image of like, I wanted people to see me as like a good wholesome dude. And it not to get too far into it, but like I come from a very conservative like Christian family. So like I knew that if I actually took the blinders off and showed my true colors, like it would probably destroy my parents.
Oh, no, yeah.
And since then it's interesting because I've had a lot of long conversations with them since they've kind of seen this new side of their son that they had never seen before. And we've actually grown pretty close, but how
do they respond to that? Because I know from Tommy's interview,
my mother's like, she's like, I don't watch your videos. I can't watch them. But my dad like secretly stalks like everything I do, like every one of my tweets and like all my videos. He's always like sending me little messages and shit. So I think he probably prays for me every night that Jesus will cleanse my soul and my heart. But I think like secretly he kind of loves that shit.
And living vicariously. Maybe this is the guy he kind of wanted to be, but never was able to be, and he gets to see it through you.
So that was it. I had never come to terms with like being myself. And once I finally realized, listen, myself is someone that loves crass comedy. I love Family Guy, a lot of Seth MacFarlane, Chris Farley, Jim Carrey influence growing up. Like all these people, these characters, just really shaped my comedic style. And when I finally was able to tap into that is when I really started to find a little bit of, I guess when I started to resonate with people a little bit more and they started to appreciate it.
People are always going to be able to tell when you're genuine, you know, people can tell when
100%.
Fake
Yeah.
But when you're
like you hear that a million times, but it really is true. Like if you, you know, and there's obviously, so there's a lot of factors, but if you can be genuine and like upfront with people and try and be honest and have integrity and still deliver some comedy or some entertainment of some sort, then that's a good recipe.
It makes it easier on this platform because you have so many young kids and stuff that are on the platform that are, you know, moralizing and, you know, getting copy and fake and all this stuff. So when they do see somebody being genuine, especially a guy like you or a guy like me who's older, which is another reason why I fucking love this, by the way, all the growth that you've been having as of late, because that means we still have a fucking chance. Old people on YouTube can still do this. Holy God.
Hell yeah, dude. 30 plus club. How you doing?
Right? Holy shit. Do you find that has given you extra challenges, the fact that you're a little bit older? This does get the connotation of being a young man's game, but yet here you are in the best growth of your life, and you're doing it at the oldest you've been, obviously. That's how age works.
Yeah, it's interesting. It used to worry me a little bit, I guess, like, oh, like maybe, you know, my time on YouTube is past or whatever, because it's you see all these young kids, all these little fuck boys blowing up and getting millions of subscribers, and like that's whatever. But there's a huge market for more kind of real, down to earth people that just want to make content and have fun. And I think age is a funny thing because, you know, you get, of course, anyone in their 30s that's making YouTube videos, especially in the vein that I make mine with, that are a little, you know, the humor is dumbed down and geared to be very, I guess, relatable and easily picked up on by people of all ages. You know, I try not to be too sophisticated, but you get a lot of people that are like, oh, what, fucking, you're too old for this game. Or like, who's this old guy fucking a monkey? Like all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, I just, age is a number, man. Like I stopped growing up when I was 22. Like I don't,
right. It just ended.
Not in a bad way though. Like, listen, I'm an adult. I have a full-time job. I own a house. I'm married. Like, I have a fucking real life that I have a lot of responsibilities. But when it comes to just fucking around on the internet and having some fun, like, there's this misconception that with age, all of a sudden, at some point, the fun needs to stop, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to be an adult. You're no longer allowed to make fucking jokes about farts. You're not allowed to fucking, you know, swear and set bad examples for kids. Like, fuck off, dude. Right.
If anything, we appreciate farts more in our older age because then we've smelled
without
a lot of
doubt.
them. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Farts are hilarious, dude.
Fucking A, right. Funny when I was 4, they'll be funny when I'm 40. You know, just reality of the situation. But it is weird how people look at the whole age conversation. It's something that has always kind of bothered me. But the fact is, the longer YouTube has gone on, the more it's changed, the more it's changing. And I think while there is still the mega market for the young kids, Jake Pauls and all that, they're going to have their shit. But I think more people are coming over here looking for older theme type stuff, the radio style content that I like to do. It seems to be getting a little bit more popular. So I think you're just going to continue to do better because of that reason alone.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know. I feel like I can relate to a lot of these people that are younger too, like, you know, 17, 18, 19, 20, these kids. Like, I remember being that age like it was yesterday, and I had the same sense of humor. You know, a lot of things have changed since then, and how I have to handle myself and carry myself. But like, I don't know. I have the mindset of, I guess, just kind of someone that wants to have fun and stay mentally young in the ways that aren't handicapping my success as an actual person in the real world.
Right. No, that makes a perfect sense because you do have to worry about that. That is, you have a real life job. You have things that, you know, you post stuff. You're a shit poster. You're a classic shit poster. So it's just like, does that ever worry you? Do you ever have that, like, a little bit of anxiety of something that you're going to go too far one day and then your job's going to be like, get the fuck out of here. And you haven't gone to that level where you're making enough money, especially with the apocalypse. Does that ever bring anxiety?
Yeah. Well, a little bit, but not so much anymore. But it was interesting when I first started to kind of get a little traction about around a year ago or a little over on Twitter and kind of helped kickstart my YouTube thing. It was right around the same time I was starting in a new job too. I had been at the old place I'd worked at. I was at for almost 10 years and I was starting in this new job. And so there was that point a couple months into my new job where someone found my Instagram and then it led to this and they're like, holy shit, like you have a little bit of a following and like you make videos, and all of a sudden one by one everyone like started to find out who Leon Lush was at work. And like because I never speak about it in public unless people ask me about it, and I do a little bit more now, like, because people are actually interested, because it's like, all right, you have 120,000 subscribers, you're making decent, you know, a couple views, so they're curious,
right?
But I just get a lot of initially I was worried that like, my boss would say whatever, but the people I work with are really cool. And I had to kind of sit myself down and be like, all right, if you're going to do this, you have to 100% commit and just like, don't be sweating like, oh, did I say the wrong thing or did I do that? Just like, do you. And like, if people think you're a fucking weird loser idiot, I don't give a fuck, man, because I'm just going to continue to do what makes me happy and fucking have fun.
I think that's the best thing that anybody can be. I think that's why I like that damn song that I use in the intro, Views, because when you just hear the hook, which is great, but when you listen to the lyrics of it, it kind of tells your entire philosophy on YouTube and life in general in a lot of ways. Just do the fucking shit that you want to do, because you never know when the ride is going to be over. So it's just kind of a fun song. I like that.
Another thing I think of too is like, you're talking, like, you look at the internet and social media and like this online marketplace of personalities essentially.
Yeah.
And you have people from all over the world, you know, making more money than doctors that spend 8 years in school and operate on people's hearts just from making stupid fucking videos on the internet. And like, I would be crazy to not try and at least get a little piece of that pie.
Right.
Whether, you know, so if for a second, if I think that I have the wherewithal or the talent, you know, or the skills with editing and whatnot to try and make a dent in that marketplace, I'm going to give it a shot. And it's finally, after years and years in years and years and years of making content for nobody to see, and for editing and watching tutorials and practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. It's finally starting to pay off a little bit. So that feels pretty good.
Entertainment always perseveres. People are always looking for escapes. They're always looking for things that are going to distract them from their lives. And that's why, you know, people always get pissed off. Well, baseball players and football players, they make more than doctors. Well, yeah, people need this type of distraction. It's the same thing with YouTube. It's the same thing with any form of entertainment. I've always believed
Absolutely.
that. It sucks.
I agree. 100%. Yeah. You know, you're not fucking saving children from starvation in third world countries, but like you're providing a outlet for people that don't, you know, that just need a little time away from the stressors of their everyday life.
Right.
And I think that's fantastic. And I think it's extremely necessary, and people that are good at it should be compensated.
Especially in 2017, where just everything just feels like it sucks. My God.
I know, dude. It's tough to keep a positive outlook. And even just my Twitter timeline, it's just all people calling out other people and all these, you know, whatever. And I'm not on a high horse. Certainly, like a lot of the YouTube videos I make are basically calling out other YouTubers, but I try and do it. The whole point is for entertainment's sake. You know, I don't give a fuck if somebody wants to fill up their bath with Gatorade and swim around in it for a YouTube video. That's fucking, if that like gets your rocks off, that's totally fine. I could care less. You're not hurting anybody, but I'm certainly going to make fun of you for it to try and provide a little entertainment for other people that watch my videos.
Right. 100%. Now, going to the grind just a little bit more, just slightly, because now with your perspective, where you've hit 120K, you're 30, do you mind if I say your age, 32 years old. Didn't let you answer the question, but fuck it, I said it anyway. Oh well, ask for forgiveness, no permission. So you're 32 years old. And you've been through this entire situation with, you know, the musician and being in bands and going to YouTube and coming out. Anything that you can go back and tell 22-year-old Leon Lush that the 32-year-old can give a little bit of perspective to? Anything at all?
I think the main thing, though, I don't regret the time I spent in the band. I think I learned a lot. I became a much better musician. I think just it would be like, dude, don't stop doing YouTube for 5 years right now. Like, you're literally like, this is right when people are blowing up. And because I wasn't getting the traction I wanted after, you know, 1 to 1.5 years. And I was kind of going through some shit with this ex-girlfriend I was living with. It was a tougher time in my life. I was fucking broke. I had no money. Like, I was like, fuck it. And like, I just kind of put it on the shelf. And the one thing, I mean, but moving forward, you know, back then, 08, 09, and now more than ever, it's like, it's the online world. Online entertainment is the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, independent creators, these people that are, you know, coming up with ideas and creating things. That's where it's at. So that's the one thing I wish I did, you know, even if I was in the band, if I continued to try and foster a community online, whatever. But now, you know, the hindsight's 2020, and it's like, at this point, it's like, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I learned so much in those years of not doing it. And then coming back, I think now too, that like, I, you know, finally started to get a little bit of traction over the last 12 months. It's like I had all those years previous to get decent at editing and making music and all these things, and I'm by no means like great at it. You know, I know Lord Vega's in here, and he would fucking put me to shame when it comes to any sort of video editing. But I think the fun part for me is just try like kind of the creative shit posting side of editing, like doing just little things, little tweaks here and there that kind of engage viewers and kind of bring their attention back after, you know, talking for 60 to 70 seconds and they're about to doze off or click off the video, throw in a little audio effect, throw in a little visual glitch, put a dildo on the side of the screen, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. I have the most fun with just trying to be fucking weird and creative when I edit, and it's, I don't know. It's a good time.
It's cool to be able to learn those lessons without a lot of pressure. You know, being able to go through that growth period without having to worry about it. You can take those risks. But now you're at a point where you can go back to the things. You can make more music if you want. You have more of a presence now. You can take a few more chances. Is that something we're going to see more out of you in the future, going more music oriented at times? I know, you know, I fucking love that damn song Views. I hate to say it again, but Jesus Christ, do I do. I do, man. It's just, I listen to it all the fucking time. I'm such a fanboy. What the hell's the matter?
Thanks, man. I really like that song too. And I don't know why. It just kind of, I don't even remember the creative process and how I made it. I think I started with the bass line and then just started, I was like, started saying something about views, and it just kind of, it wrote itself very quickly, and I just put it out because I wanted like a new outro song. I thought it was totally relevant to, you know, what I was trying to do as a YouTuber. And it, you know, like you said in the lyrics, I just kind of conveyed a little bit how I feel about this kind of landscape of what it means. You know, these 17-year-old teenage millionaires making, you know, 7 figures by making retarded videos for the internet. But yes, music at the end of the day, you know, is a huge passion of mine. And, you know, I feel like it's a little bit cliche sometimes to be like, oh, music is my life, and I just want to sing and do all these things. Whatever. Like, I love it, and I want to continue to do it, but it always comes, it kind of comes back to that balance thing with, at least the situation I'm in now, working full time and only having X amount of hours to dedicate to content creation every single week. Making music that is good and thoughtful or funny takes a lot more work than, you know, making a video about a popular topic, right? So it kind of brings you back to that, you know, quantity over quality, and how can I maintain consistent uploads if I'm doing, you know, spending all the free time I have kind of producing and editing this song and not having anything to show for it because it takes so much longer. And that's kind of the tough game I think a lot of YouTubers play. It's like, do you take a month off of videos to really bust your balls and make something incredible that's going to get no views anyways because you're not putting any trending fucking words in the title? Or do you make 2 to 3 videos a week about popular topics and watch your channel explode?
Right. So
it's trying to find that balance. I think for me, I need to get better at being able to do both of those. Like, I want to be able to continue to make videos regularly, twice a week, that are geared, you know, towards commentary and entertaining, while having side projects that I'm working on. And that's traditionally what I've done in the past. But since I had that video kind of blow up, my channel started doing well. I'll be honest, I've felt this added pressure to make sure I don't take my foot off the gas, as to not miss out on an opportunity of, you know, that could go away if you just gave up for a month to make a cool original song about love and loss that people would love.
A nice angsty ballad. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
I want to switch gears just a little bit because I want to tackle something that I've gotten more requests to ask you this question than anything else, because I've been talking about this for like 2 weeks now, and everybody's keeps asking me the same thing. So, plain and simple, what happened with Hot Wet Soup? What's going on, man?
It's gonna be so much. It's gonna be such a letdown when I tell you what happened. Like, there was literally nothing is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, we were making these episodes. We were kind of grinding it out. We were making episodes like once a week. We had like Mr. Beast on, had a pretty cool guests, and like nothing was said. We just like we like missed an episode. We missed an episode one week, and we're like trying to figure out a day to do it. And then we all just like didn't say anything in the group chat like, for like 2 weeks, and then finally, I think Jimmy, Elvis the Alien, or Aaron was like, wow, we really suck at scheduling things, huh? And we're all like, yeah. And it was over the summertime too, and we all kind of had our own shit going on. And, you know, classic life of a YouTuber, you go through like phases of depression, and like you can't be fucked to try and like put that face on and create. So it just kind of fell to the wayside a little bit at no fault to anybody. It's just kind of a cumulative passiveness, I guess, just kind of saw the eventual demise. Now, you know what I'm saying? So there's no Jimmy coming out as a, you know, pedophile or whatever,
There's none of that.
Whatever people probably wanted to hear. Yeah.
Coming, yeah.
It was just a couple of dudes that like couldn't seem to find the time to keep it going, and it sucks because I really liked my time chatting with those guys, and I think we made some cool episodes, and I know quite a few people enjoyed it. We got a lot of positive feedback after the initial wave of hate from Zaptai fucking diehards.
Right.
But that's just kind of how it went down. So here we are, me, Jimmy, and Aaron and I still love those guys to death, and we don't obviously talk as much anymore because we're not doing a podcast every week, but I admire their content greatly, and we're nothing but cool with each other. So
do you find it weird that it seems like basically a year ago everyone was talking about podcasts, everybody was talking about it, Baited, and then we got into a little bit with Catch 33. You coming into Hot Wet Soup was a big fucking deal. It seemed like there was about to be this multi-man podcast explosion, and then it just died, and
it just fucking fell off a cliff, dude.
Why do you think it happened? It's so weird because there's something there. There seems like this is a perfect place for that type of content. Is it just because people can't schedule for shit? I mean, egos? What do you think it is?
I can't really put a finger on it. I think it's probably a variety of reasons that kind of all add to the thing, but it's definitely like it takes more, I think, mental energy to do podcasting regularly because you're I don't know, I guess you're not necessarily live, but you're talking about these topics at length with other people, and you have clashing opinions, and the scheduling too. I mean, anything, whether it's a podcast or a live stream like that, you're trying to schedule with other people in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. That is oftentimes the hardest part, I think, is the making schedules work together, especially when people aren't full-time YouTubers. And that was part of the thing for me. Like Jimmy and Aaron, they were both doing YouTube full-time at this point, but I was still working. So the only time I had available was like most nights after like 11 or midnight, and we would do it. But it was like these guys are fucking gassed by then, or that's when they're normally doing their editing or whatever. So it's tough to coordinate sometimes. And that was the other thing with Four Fat Bastards when I was in that podcast for about
that's right.
two to three episodes. That was pretty much everything. It was like two of the dudes lived in the UK, and like anytime I was available, it was 5 a.m. for them, and it just doesn't work. So
as far as the studio podcasts are still going on, like H3H3. I know Alex is doing his thing now, but it seems like when people are trying to come over from different parts of the country, it's just they're dying off. Can't maintain it.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, there's a lot of it too. I'm sure is everyone wants to it started to get popular. People want to try it out and see if they can get a piece of the pie, a piece of the views, a piece of the attention that people are giving to these podcasts. And then, it becomes a crowded marketplace, and 98% of them probably didn't gain any traction. So they just die off naturally. Yeah. Whereas I'm sure there's a couple that have gone on to do very well. And it's funny because podcasting was already huge when it all of a sudden became like the cool thing to do as a YouTuber.
Right. Joe Rogan.
You know what I mean? Like
for a long time.
The Joe Rogan experience, like all these different types of podcasts with hundreds of thousands of listeners. Like this was a big thing already for people with personal brands and websites and stuff. And all of a sudden YouTubers were like, oh yeah, we can upload fucking, YouTube loves watch time. Let's upload 1.5 hour podcasts and put 30 ads on it, and it'll kill our watch time. We'll make all this fucking money. And it's like, hell yeah. I mean, Baited made a shitload of money while it was going nuts, and to the credit of those guys that did that, Clown and all the other casts. But yeah, it's just, I think it's natural for it to kind of die out and have just a few remain. But even, let me ask you, even with Catch 33, like with you guys, what would you say happened there as far as the main kind of reason it ended up having to cease?
100% scheduling.
Absolutely.
Has nothing other to do than scheduling, just not being able to get on the same page. And Beta's having its own issue with it right now.
And by that's a nice way of saying you can fucking DM Clown and he doesn't get back to you for 3 weeks.
Look, I'm never gonna fucking beat Clown over the head, but everybody knows who Clown is. In fact, Tommy and I just did a show talking about Chad losing his fucking mind a little bit, having a minor meltdown, and threatening Clown on a live stream. that he's going to drag him through the mud if Clown doesn't get back to him. He actually fucking lifted his Twitter handle over his head because Chad, Anything Reviews, is able to get the Twitter reinstated for Clown. He goes, if you don't get back to me, I'm going to fucking cancel that. You're not getting your Twitter back. Because that's how serious it's gotten, because he's not the easiest man to get hold of. It's fucking crazy.
No. Yeah.
Chad actually called in and talked to us too. It was hysterical.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
Was that when he was like Clown was doing some baited episodes? Like he was trying to get.
He's back in baited now. This just happened today.
No shit.
Yeah. Before I'm talking to you, I was over. Yes, I was just talking to Tommy. I was on Tommy's show as I do Wednesday over at Shop the Point, and this, yeah, it broke. And Chad came on and talked to us. It was fucking insane.
So I have to admit, I haven't listened to the recent episodes of Baited, but I know Andy Milanakis left, right? He's all done. And so now it's Clown, Keemstar, and Chad essentially.
Yeah, that's those three.
Okay.
And, they did an interview, and apparently they can't get the audio together. So, and apparently I think the interview's the FaZe Banks one. So, which is kind of a big one, a little bit time sensitive. So I understand.
Yeah.
Like we wanted to beat Chad up a little bit because meltdowns are fucking hysterical, but at the same time, we understand. Like if there's any two people in the world who understand the anger, it's me and Tommy. We totally get it.
And I can't say a bad thing about Clown either, because like I understand coming from that. Like it's hard to balance sometimes, like personal life with the internet life. It's like they're two different worlds oftentimes. And to find that balance is tough, and nobody knows what's going on. Like we like make memes about Clown and his fucking rich toy factory inheritance he's got coming his way, and the castle that he fucking lives in. Like, but no one knows what the fuck's going on really, like in his life. So I always kind of give people the benefit of the doubt, and also I can also never be angry at Clown, because I think I saw in your tweet earlier one of the questions someone asked, like who was the first person to like notice you or something, referring to me. And it was Colossal. He was one of the first people when I was making Twitter videos and trying to get back into YouTube that like saw a little video I did and like loved it and fucking DM'd me and then tweeted out like, yo, you should check this guy out. And that was kind of that gave me a confidence boost. And it was always it was almost the beginning of me growing a lot on Twitter, and then subsequently having my YouTube start to roll. So I'll always owe him for that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Clown had no reason in the world to pick me for Catch 33. Tommy wanted to go with a much bigger guy, million fucking subscriber YouTuber. My best friend was like, and Clown's like, I want Dave. And I still don't know why to this day, but I'm forever indebted to him, and I'm always going to love him to death. I just wish he would. God, the guy is so fucking good. His Twitch streams are amazing. He's an incredible podcaster. He's one of the best video makers. Why we could just come on, man? Just chain him to a fucking desk. God damn, it's something. But it is what it is, man. It's a killer.
We all have our shortcomings.
Yes, we do. We do indeed. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but you and I actually share a little bit of a gimmick. Something I've been doing for a long time, something that you do as well. Nigel, you got your buddy back there, Nigel. I got my own buddy. And, mine's not as cool as yours. I don't know. I got Gizmo. I got my Gizmo that I've had for a very long time. So Nigel, explain to me. Yes. What Dr. Frankenstein fucking lab? How did Nigel come about?
I'm trying to remember the exact time when I was like, yes, I'm going to buy this baby monkey doll, and like what thoughts were going through my head at that time. But it was before any of the stuff with Clown and it was really when I was still kind of in no man's land trying to figure out how to become a YouTuber again. I was probably stoned or something, like cruising the internet, and I just found this fucking website that sells like these baby monkey dolls, like these lifelike baby monkey dolls, and they're not fucking cheap, mind you. And whatever, I had a couple extra bucks lying around, and I just pulled the trigger. I was like, I'll figure out something to do with this. And I obviously, the intent initially from the get-go was obviously to have it be a meme of some sorts or do something stupid or creative or clever. And then I started, I can't remember when I first incorporated him into a video, but eventually he got a little more screen time, and then I did a whole video dedicated to picking a name for him, where I had a lot of people on Twitter helping me out, and it's just kind of all built from there. And it's just given me a little bit of creative freedom, you know, to add in a couple of random stupid skits, like that just give another dynamic to the videos I make. Now I get comments every once in a while that are like, dude, the bit with the monkey is so cringe, like fucking get rid of him and you'd be a great YouTuber. And I'm like, Nigel will fucking beat your sorry ass. You shut the fuck up. That's what I think usually. Yeah.
Nigel's the man. Fucking. Are you surprised at how over he's gotten? Because my God, you can make the argument that Nigel was the MVP of fucking VidCon. You know, it's like, what happened?
I get more comments about Nigel than anything else, and I mean, most people say, yeah, like, fuck Leon, I'm only here for Nigel, and I believe it. I feel like there's at least half of my viewer base like probably only watches to see if Nigel's going to say something, and fuck, I better keep that going or I'm going to die off.
Right, you're going to go as far as Nigel takes you. Like, it's your creation. You ever feel like a little resentful? It's like, I bought this little motherfucker. Like, really?
Yeah, right. Hoisted by my own petard, this one. I'm like, listen, I gave you the spotlight, and now he's taking the spotlight all for himself. No one wants to hear what I have to say. They just want to fucking see us making love, or they want to see him getting the shit beat out of him. We do have a little bit of an abusive relationship, which, yeah, nothing like memeing domestic violence with a baby monkey doll.
Hey, sometimes you got to embrace your inner Ike Turner, man. Just how it is.
Shit. That's it. Take it out on Nigel, so my wife lives the lavish life of just someone that is taken care of.
Exactly, because people can't see his bruises, so you're good to go. You're completely fine.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, speaking of VidCon a little bit, because Nigel did have a little bit of a starring role over there, that was one of the best stories of last year. Not just VidCon in general, one of the best things that anybody was talking about. And you got cited a lot as one of the, like, the de facto leaders of the house in a lot of ways. You seem to be in the middle of a lot of things. And how was that experience going in there, especially one of the elder statesmen of the house? I mean, take me through VidCon, man, because that was awesome to watch.
It was a one of a kind experience. It was great. You know, it was my first VidCon. I think it was almost all of us that were staying in the house. I believe it was all of our first VidCons. And you know, it's just kind of this hodgepodge fucking group of dudes that like met through YouTube and Twitter and the internet that like got this dope Airbnb and then just stayed together. I mean, you go from I'm Alex and Wild Spartans, who I think is 16, up to me, I think was me is 32, and Lord Vega is up close to me, I think, or a little bit older. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's up there.
And,
Old man Vega.
We kind of had this whole gamut of people, and there was constantly people coming through the house. It really turned into like the hub of VidCon for a large kind of community of creators. And it was fun, man. Like there was part of me that like, it's the old guy in me, right? That was like super worried about the fucking deposit on the house and like panicking if there's like, you know, something was going to break, like someone spilled an entire can of Grape Crush on the pool table. And I'm like, oh fuck, we're fucked. Like just that. I have a real apprehensive, real anxious side of me when it comes to like other people's property and like trying to take care of shit that's not mine. So that was kind of like plagued me the whole time, but I did a pretty good job of masking it in the bottom of a fucking Crown Royal bottle. So I stayed drunk pretty much the whole time and just let the wheels come off and had a great time. I mean, Brad, Ginger Heat, obviously, you know, Ginger Heat.
Yes, everybody loves Ginger Heat.
He's just one of the coolest fucking dudes to hang out with. There were several nights where it was just like everyone else had kicked out or knocked off or whatever. And we were just like outside chilling by the pool, like smoking a bowl. Or I remember one night it was me and Billy the Fridge was fucking floating in the pool, like 500-pound Billy the Fridge. And me and Brad were like sitting poolside and we're just like smoking and eating McDonald's at 3 a.m. in the morning. I was like, well, these are just those experiences you don't get very often. And I'll definitely cherish those. I definitely want to do it again. I have to figure out how to pull that off this year, but I know Bunty's trying to. Are you going this year?
I'm going 100%. You guys, You did something so cool for me. I know that Ginger was the guy who orchestrated it because he's been a friend of mine for a while now, and I love him to death.
Yeah.
That video that you guys did for me, it almost made me cry. You guys are a bunch of assholes. It was really, really nice. You didn't have to do that, and it was really cool of you to do. Yes, I'm 100% going. If I have to sell a kidney, I'm going to VidCon. It has to happen.
Hell yeah, dude. I would. And it's funny too because it's like the actual VidCon experience, like the actual event at the Anaheim Convention Center, like,
kind of lame,
yeah. Bunch of fucking little kids like trolling around on their phones looking for their favorite fuck boy creators. But there were a few panels, like there were a couple of panels that I found useful, but the one or two panels I really wanted to go to, I showed up like 5 minutes early and they were already closed because they were at capacity. So I didn't even get to fucking go in. So I should have known better to get there earlier. But but yeah, and doing the meetups was fun. Like meeting people that watch your videos and shit was really cool. Kind of a surreal experience. And I was still like 30,000 subscriber Leon at this point, but there were a decent amount of people that knew who I was, obviously through association with other creators like I'm Alex and Bunty and all these things, people, because we kind of all would fuck around on Twitter and ran in the same circle. So it was really cool to meet a lot of those people and fucking just get to know a lot of these guys in real life that I had spent so many months getting to know online.
Anyone that you were surprised that you got along with? Anyone that you were worried about getting along with that it turned out to be just something amazing? Or is there anyone that you really didn't get along with that we simply don't know about?
Not really, man. I'm a pretty amicable guy. Like I'm a little bit of a chameleon in the sense that like I get along with most people. I see myself a little bit as a people pleaser, and sometimes not to my benefit. Like oftentimes I want other people around me to feel comfortable. I want other people around me to feel good. So there was like I was worried about that going in. Like I remember taking the Uber from LAX like over to Anaheim, and I'm thinking like I'm like, holy shit, I'm meeting all these people for the first time in real life. Like, what if they're different, or what if they're fucking stupid or lame or assholes? And everyone was just exactly how I thought they were going to be. Super cool, really down to earth. And I feel like we all just got along and kicked it. And there wasn't, I can't think of a single moment where I was like, I'm not really a huge fan of this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the immediate group went at the house, I think it went very smoothly.
It's interesting because two of the best stories from VidCon was actually you guys being in that house. And the other one, of course, is Tariq Nasheed, which is Bunty's big rival. And you guys all got involved in that. How did that come about? Do you guys kind of wish you would have did more? I mean, that situation was so fucking crazy. And it's really kind of helped Bunty from this point on. But what happened there?
Well, that was right around the time. Yeah, Bunty kind of right when we were going to VidCon. I think it was, I can't remember if it was at VidCon, but his Twitter account got suspended because of Tariq Nasheed. And then he made a new account, and like that whole thing kind of blew up and started to go viral a little bit. So Bunty gained a lot of traction from it. His new account was going nuts, and he was, and and Bunty's to credit to him, he was on the grind making Twitter videos. I mean, just nonstop putting out content, and he was killing it. And he's still riding that. But that was kind of his, I guess, when he really started to mingle a little bit more with what people call the skeptic community. The Armored Skeptics, the Chris Ray Guns, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And he's kind of. And he's kept it going, and I think he's trying right now to kind of peel it back a little bit and do more lighthearted content. He's been uploading more on YouTube, which is great, and he's I'm happy to see him growing too. I think he just passed 50,000 subs or whatever.
Big shout to him on that, absolutely, well deserved.
Yeah, and Bunty's just a great guy. Like me and him, like I felt we just kind of I think before VidCon, like we probably had the most chemistry as far as like getting to know each other online, and
you
then
guys are kind of tied together.
Yeah. And at VidCon, we just it felt like we had been friends for 10 years. Like we just got along great. We'd go out, have drinks, and just had a really nice time. And sometimes he would go off and do his own thing, and I'd go somewhere else and do our own thing. It was just very seamless. It was cool.
Somebody actually asked, This was a question for you, by the way, from Twitter. One of my brilliant Twitter questions that we got. Do you think that you are the the black Bunty, or is Bunty the white you? And I responded very quickly, Bunty's not black. And he goes,
he's brown, motherfucker.
Yeah, he goes, he's Middle Eastern, that's basically black. I go, he's fucking Sikh, dude. He's goddamn Sikh Indian, man. What the hell's the matter with you? But it's a good question. Are you the black Bunty, or is he the white you?
I'm definitely the black Bunty.
I think that if you ever need a new persona, I think you just got it. Black
Bunty.
Boom.
Blackface Bunty. Yeah.
Well, maybe not go that far.
But Halloween couldn't come sooner.
Now, speaking of the rivalry with Tariq and Bunty, it makes me wonder, what's the big ones for you? Have you had any big falling outs of people that have, or fights or things that you kind of wanted to pursue that maybe you didn't? Because as you said earlier, this is all about taking the piss out of people and just having fun, but nothing really personal. Has that ever gotten to that level with you for anybody?
Just once, really, I think. And I'm trying to think. Certainly I've gotten into it a little bit with people, but the one time where I really got into it was with this guy named Britbong Returns.
Okay, Britbong.
And I won't get into the details, but he hated me for whatever reason, and that's fine. Like he hated me before I had ever even corresponded with him, I guess, for whatever, that's his prerogative. And then we just kind of had a couple back and forths, and then went silent for a while, and then got into it again. And I was just like so annoyed by how he was like occupying my mental space and like my time and my mental capacity. Like, I'm like, why the fuck would I waste energy on this? So I just blocked him and never said anything again. And I've never been happier. I never looked back.
There you go.
But that just happens, man. I mean, there's gonna, and like I said, I consider myself a pretty friendly dude, but there's always going to be people that on the internet, especially, that no matter who you are, hate you or think you're a piece of shit. And you just got to take it in stride, and there's nothing you can do. Just keep doing what you're doing.
The biggest thing that I think that people make mistakes on with YouTube is when they become bitter. You can't be salty on this platform, man. Once you are, it's fucking game over. Because once they know that they can get to you, and everyone's going to push that button, you're just going to self-destruct. You're going to become Onision. You're going to become that walking, living, breathing fucking meme. And that's it.
Ugh. Good God. That's so true. Yeah. And I try to handle same thing with YouTube comments. I'll obviously get comments that are less than savory about my videos or whatever. And it's like, you just don't take it personally. And if
you make a bit out of it.
I do. Yeah. And I like to respond to people that dislike me in a way that like eases the tension. It's never a defensive thing. It's more a deflection, and just, I don't really know. I kind of do it on a case by case basis, but it's gotten me a lot of, I tweeted something the other day where someone wrote on my video, like, the only thing worse than like her video was you actually trying to be funny, because you're actually not funny at all. You're a piece of shit.
Boom.
And I just wrote, I put like a laughing till I'm crying emoji and something like that, and said something stupid. And they were like, I actually just watched some of your other videos. I changed my mind. You're actually pretty funny. I like you a lot. I was like, all right, what?
Nice, folding like a chair, baby. Folding like a chair.
Yeah, just like that. Fucking from 0 to 60. Quick turnaround.
Hey, you know what? At least you got a new fan, though, so that's good. Just give him the views.
That's it, yeah.
Give him those motherfucking views. What's the matter with you?
Give me the motherfucking views.
Now, we've talked a lot about tweeting and all that stuff. Now, I want to focus a little bit to Twitter, because there's two guys that I think about a lot of who make such great use of Twitter, you being one of them, and Bunty, who is the brand maker with Twitter.
Yeah.
It seems like more people are starting to realize how important of a vehicle Twitter is to kind of push all of your activities. When did that become a realization for you, or is it just a different outlet that you can do different things with? What is Twitter for you?
It's definitely more ephemeral. Like, tweets last fucking 60 minutes and they're gone, unless you are lucky enough to have one, take off a little bit, go viral and gain some traction. But I mean, for me, like, early on, like a year ago, Twitter was like my strategy. That's where I was like putting 85% of my energy, and then the other 15% I was making a YouTube video like once a week or once every week and a half or something like that.
Right.
And initially that worked great because I had a couple tweets that went viral. You know, I was uploading video tweets of like me playing songs and a couple different things, a couple that went viral, and it helped me really grow on Twitter and kind of find this little Twitter audience that I then tried to parlay into YouTube, and a lot of them came over to YouTube, and I started getting a little bit of sub growth slowly and some more views, and kind of kept on that for several months with pretty good success. And then there was a shift about, 2 to 3 or 4 months ago when I was like, all right, as much as it's great to get, 3,000-4,000 likes on a tweet or get a ton of retweets and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not really, it's building your brand. Sure. It's building recognition, but it's like YouTube, if you're trying to actually make a living and make money, like YouTube is where that's happening right now. So I decided to spend less time making Twitter videos and tried to re-up my efforts and make more YouTube videos, make better YouTube videos. And I started to do that. And then once I had that one that did really well, I continued to do that. And my activity on Twitter slowed down quite a bit. So I still hit replies quite a bit, and I replied a lot of tweets, but my production of original tweets is quite a bit less now than it was. And I've seen a slowing down in the engagement. It's still good, but on the flip side of that, I now have 100,000 more subscribers on YouTube. So to me, it's a no-brainer. So
do you think it's fair to say that Ricky Berwick is one of those bridge builders, that the gap bridge guy that kind of just said, look, we can do this on Twitter, but he's also fucking killing it on YouTube by essentially re-uploading those same videos and compilations. Ricky is he is such an anomaly, and I'm so happy to see what he's been able to do. Is he becoming the prototype for people wanting to build an audience on both platforms?
I'm not really sure. What Ricky's done is incredible, I think, and I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Ricky because he was one of the first people I collabed with. Like, he had 1,000 followers and I had like 900 or something. And that's when I first found out who he was. And I started we started getting into it in a fun, jovial way. And that kind of became how we interacted. It was always like we were at odds and we were trying to tear each other down, but always in a fun way. And then in the DMs, we're always very nice to each other and like asking how you're doing, blah, blah, blah.
He's an absolute sweetheart.
He is. Yeah. And then he starts to blow up, and it's just really cool. But I don't know, as far as like the transition for like between social media platforms like Twitter to YouTube, I'm not sure. Like, you see YouTubers with 1 million plus subscribers that have like 25,000 Twitter followers and get no engagement on their tweets.
Right.
And then alternatively, you have like the Bunty Kings who like crush it on Twitter and are still, their YouTube's trying to catch up. So I think you just have to figure out like what's more important to you, and not necessarily what's more important, but how can you make those things start to work together a little bit better. And for me, that was, focusing a little less on Twitter and letting that slow down a little bit to help my YouTube grow. And now that that's happening, my Twitter's starting to get a little bit better as well, since I'm, you grow on YouTube, you grow on, naturally, you're going to have people find you on other platforms as well. So, I meant to say this, the one thing for me, like when it comes to discovery, that's like when you're someone trying to make content or you're someone trying to be a personality or do anything on the internet, it's all about discovery, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's through collaborations, whether it's through coming on Dead on Dave to talk to you.
This is going to do great for your career. This is going to do wonders for you, man.
This is going to be the turning point.
This is the big one.
Me,
this is the one that gets you to 1 million. Yeah, congratulations.
Full-time YouTuber within a week. No, but as far as discovery, like there's nothing better to do that than figuring out how to make your way into YouTube recommended. That's really what it comes down to.
Good luck.
And that it's just like, and if you can do that, like, the reason I say this is that I see it happening all the time, all around me. It happened last November to Chubbs, who went from 6,000 subscribers to 500,000 in like 4 months. Like, if you can find a way to make the correct video, title it correctly, thumbnail, whatever the fuck it is, to get into YouTube recommended and ride that train, like there's no better way to find discovery. And that to me is kind of the strategy, is to try to make content that's geared towards trying to get recommended to people And then once you build that audience that wants to see content from you, it gives you a little more leeway, a little more leniency with what kind of content you put out. And of course, that's a whole nother discussion, is like getting pigeonholed into doing one type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Which, you make 10-minute videos about fucking drug commercials or Dr. Phil talk shows, commentaries, and then like all of a sudden you start doing something totally different. I don't know. You got to be careful, but
people will backlash.
Yeah, it really comes. It comes down to discovery, and there's nothing better than YouTube at being able to get discovered by people that don't know who you are.
Well, figuring out the anomaly that is YouTube is something that I think everybody tries to do all the time. And you on Twitter, you can be quite critical of YouTube, but you never seem to go too far with it. It's always very, just how you do your videos. It's just very comical, but very serious at the same time, because nobody knows what anybody is doing wrong or right in YouTube most of the time. You either hit the lottery, you don't hit the lottery. If you're doing great, and then you're not. So let me ask you: have you figured anything out? Do you have any insight after your growth? What the fuck is going on with YouTube, and is there a way to fix it?
Zero. I've figured zero. All I can do is look at what's worked in the past and try to emulate that somehow. Like, obviously, like if you upload a video with a certain title, or you do a couple videos of a series and they perform really well, chances are you continue to upload videos in a similar vein, they'll continue to do well. But man, it gets frustrating at times. I spend a lot of fucking time, like I mean a lot of time, just cruising YouTube, looking at people's channels, looking at their titles, their thumbnails, what kind of videos they're making, compulsively checking Social Blade all the time, seeing how people are performing. Like, and I'm not saying it's a healthy thing, but it's like, I think it helps me get a baseline of like at least where I want to be from my own content to give me the best chance at doing well as a YouTuber. But as far as the logistics and the specifics, like YouTube has such a lack of transparency that it's nuts, and it just makes it difficult as someone that, and I feel worse for people that do this full time, because it's like especially now with this demonetization thing and their canned response of, oh, our machines are still learning, just request a review and it'll help our machines get smarter. Meanwhile, stick a fat cucumber in your ass and get fucked because no one gives a shit about you. That's basically what they're saying.
Basically the tone that I imagine that they're using too. The exact tone.
Yeah, every single thing.
Polite, but fuck off.
So there's that whole new dynamic to it too, where it's like, just for example, today, like the video I uploaded an hour and a half ago, I uploaded earlier, unlisted. It was instantly demonetized. I'm like, fucking great. So I go back into Final Cut. I throw in a couple edits, take out a couple of keywords, export it 20 minutes. Another upload, unlisted, instantly demonetized. I'm like, fucking sweet. So, I planned on going out, doing a couple errands, but I'm stuck here at home. Third time going through, throwing in additional censors. I censored everything potentially offensive. The word retard, all the fucks and shits, like everything. Censored it all, and finally on the third time I uploaded it, and I was able to keep the green money symbol.
Really?
So yeah, and so it's kind of like a lot of trial and error. But for somebody who, like, I don't want to have to censor myself. I hate that feeling. Like, and I can't do it when I'm recording it. So if I'm gonna do it, it just takes a ton of extra time after I record to edit out all the swears, because I don't have the self-control to not say shit and fucking piss and a bunch of offensive shit. So. But it's like, but you want to be able to make a couple bucks for the work you're putting into these videos. Right, so it's, I don't think it's a greedy thing, but YouTube, they just give you no insight into what is okay and what is not. Like, one video I uploaded called, this woman nutted 180 times in 2 hours.
One of your best in a while. I love that video. My God.
And like that video, like monetized, no problem. Like it did get dinged the day after, but then they reviewed it and they were like, yeah, this is good for ads. And then my Tana Mongeau video I uploaded last week that was,
Tana.
There wasn't really anything offensive in it. There was a couple swear words and like a little bit of cleavage, but that one just instantly dinged, manually reviewed. They were like, nah, this one's not suitable for advertisers. So there's just such a lack of consistency. It makes it very difficult, but
these robots are retarded, man. These robots not. They're not learning shit. What are they learning? Watch Sesame Street, motherfuckers. Jesus,
interestingly enough, too, like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, YouTube released a statement that was like, we just made a big update to our, demonetization algorithm, and you should notice that 30 or 40% more videos will now maintain their green icons instead of yellow. And since that update's come out, like all of my videos have instantly been demonetized, whereas previous to that I was actually having a lot of luck. So I don't know what the fuck they did, but it seems to be working backwards, at least for my channel.
It does seem to be that way. Do you see anybody actually stepping up and challenging YouTube in any way? I asked the same question to Wild Spartans, which, by the way, if you ever want to learn everything you want to know about YouTube and then some, watch that interview with Wild Spartans last week. Holy fucking shit.
I've talked to Wild Spartans at length. He's the same way. He dives deep into trying to figure out, what I mean, as far as every little metric you can possibly measure to try and increase your chances, etc. Now, I'm sorry, what was the question? I heard Wild Spartans and I just started thinking of cheeseburgers.
I don't blame you one bit. He seems to be a connoisseur. No, do you see anybody being able to challenge YouTube as a viable option? Because I mean, I think Twitter, if they were able to monetize properly and like there was something that they were able to do, that might be the place to go if they give us a little bit more time for videos. But other than that, Twitch, I mean, VidMe, anybody?
I don't know. I honestly just don't think there is. I don't know. Like YouTube has kind of monopolized the video market for so long and in such a way that it's not to. Again, and it comes back to discoverability. It's not to say that somebody with a large audience like H3 couldn't, if Twitch came out with a video on demand platform, right?
Right.
It's not to say that H3 couldn't go onto Twitch and like get incredible ad rates and upload these videos on demand and get tons of views from their built-in audience and be very successful on Twitch. But when it comes to discoverability, somebody that nobody knows, there's no place you can do that better than YouTube. True. Like YouTube, as much as they fuck you when it comes to like not being transparent with any of the statistics and demonetizing your videos, like where else can you go and have like a video poorly edited, not even that funny, blow up and get 1 million views and all of a sudden turn you into a 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 subscriber YouTuber?
In
like
no time.
there's no other website that offers that because the community is so large on YouTube. There is so much traffic and there's so much content. It would just take years and years before I think anything could compete with it. So that leaves us stuck with our cock in our hands, pretty much at the beck and call of anything that YouTube wants to do. And, whatever, I get it. They need to make business decisions that help them in the long run. And they went through the scare with the advertisers pulling out. They lost a shitload of money. So they pulled the plug on ads, kind of panicked and did all this shit. I get that, but it just makes me so angry because you look at traditional media, you look at television, and it's like people are not afraid to run advertisements on very explicit content, whether it's swearing, whether it's sexually explicit, whatever. And it's like because of these 3 or 4 fucking videos like that had ads that were like ISIS extremist videos, now the whole world of internet creators has to suffer. And it's like, you should be able to run ads on a video that's, has a couple swears, is making some jokes. It should be similar to what you're seeing in other forms of media, but it's not. For some reason, YouTube wants to be Nickelodeon when the rest of the media world doesn't give a fuck.
Well, the rest of the
advertising on tragedies.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
News networks. I was just gonna say news networks. Obviously, like running ads against coverage of the Vegas shooter. Like just all this shit. Like it's just so. It makes no sense, but yet you fucking say the word retard in a YouTube video and you're not allowed to have an advertisement on it? I don't know.
Your video just shut off on me for some reason. I don't know why.
Sorry. No, that's
Oh, now we're seeing something else.
My DSLR setup. There it is. My bad. It was the auto shut off.
I think it's funny when you talk about, the old media and new media thing, the dynamic there, because YouTube, the way they do it, we're never going to be able to get the fair ad usage that you have in mainstream media because they have that ability to go to the advertisers personally. Each television company, each show, they're able to negotiate deals and bring in freaking advertisers. And they know exactly what they're getting into.
You're right.
Can't do that on YouTube. It's a blanket coverage.
That's true.
And it's always been designed to fail. And it's always been designed to be fucking manipulated by, public outrage or really bad reporting like we saw with the PewDiePie situation. It's always been designed to fail. So I don't know how that's going to get worked out unless we're able to go to a marketplace where we can talk to advertisers ourselves and negotiate our own deals. But most of us are too stupid to do that anyway. So it's
true. And I think it's, I think that's why I think it's so important for creators to be able to work with brands. And
yes,
that's something I hope to do in the future. I mean, Jack's Films is incredible at that. He's always doing promotions with websites or, just different things. And he does it in a way that's not intrusive. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, I like to think that, creators with larger audiences, like, there's always going to be those people that are like, oh, sell out, or, oh, that was so fucking annoying, or whatever. And it's like, listen, fuck you, dude. Like, I've been providing you this free content for how many years? And like, I'm trying to make a couple bucks by endorsing this product, and you're going to fucking call me out for it. Like, I love when I see creators getting brand deals, because that means creators are getting paid, and that makes me happy.
Right.
Now, there is, I think, a balance and a line between taking anything someone's going to throw at you. Like, for me, I want to work with brands that I believe in, or that I use, or that I think are going to be beneficial to those that watch me. Like, I'm not going to try and fucking rep a brain power pill because they're paying me $500 to tell people it's going to make them think longer and fucking have harder erections. I think that's bullshit. That's pretty much. Oh yeah. Yeah. Brain power and dick power, dude. It's an all-in-one pill. Yeah. It's only $69.99, 3 easy payments, and it comes in 3 bottles of 60.
There you go. I mean, so sadly on Lush. Let's get on that. Let's develop it. Holy fuck.
But no, so that's
because you're going to be known as a sellout. You're going to be known as somebody like, if you completely tank your morals like that, it's going to come up and catch you in the ass eventually. It just, you can't shill your audience. You're seeing that in the beauty community right now, which is a lot of fun. I don't know how much you've tackled that subject, but if you ever want something real low hanging fruit, go check out the beauty community. We'll have a blast in there, my friend.
I can only imagine. I've seen a couple of things, but I feel like it's run by transgenders now that are really good at doing makeup. And nothing against transgender people. I was watching a video the other day, and it was just like, that's their thing. They love to do is they're just so good at fucking makeup. Of course, there's plenty of guys and girls that do it too, but yeah, it's never caught my eye too much. Makeup's not really my thing, Dave.
It's pretty fucking great. I'm just saying. I work with this chick, Faye. She does my Tuesday show with me, and she always brings up beauty communities. It's the craziest shit. It's the craziest stories.
I have heard stories about how nuts the people are, though. Like, there's a lot of shady, crazy shit going on amongst creators and like behind the scenes bullshit.
Oh God, it's great. It really is. It's liquid cancer. It's just, and you can just inject it all over yourself, get it all over your face, neck, and chest. It's wonderful. If you love that shit, you would, oh my God, you would just love that community. I could see it now. And you can pick up some shit to, accentuate your cheekbones, which is just nice. It's a good thing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of contour. All right. You know what I'm saying? I want to get this chin to pop. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a little bit weak right now because I put on a little pre-holiday weight, but what are you going to do?
The pre-holiday weight, not let alone the actual holiday weight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I really appreciate the time so far, man. I got a few more things for you, and I'll get you out of here.
Sure.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking time on your day off, because I know you don't get a lot of those.
Yeah. No problem.
A little bit of quick hits, kind of go out on that, just some quick answers. If you want to elaborate on stuff, feel free to do so. We talked earlier about how you got the musician thing going on, you're a video maker. What's more fulfilling to you personally, being a musician or creating content on YouTube? Or is there a difference at all? That's tough. It's tough to say because there's different types of satisfaction and gratification I get from both things. Like, for instance, if I make a song from scratch, completely original, like a song like Views, and people see it and I get a good response, people really like it, like that feels fantastic, right? Because it's like, I'm not talking about someone else's content. I'm literally just creating something completely from scratch and producing it, writing it, filming it. And if it gets a good response, that's very gratifying. Right.
But it's also pretty gratifying to, make a 10-minute video talking about some shit Instagram comedian and watching it get 700,000 views. That feels pretty good too.
Feels good, yeah.
So yeah, it's gratifying for my fucking bank account, which I find nothing wrong with enjoying making money on YouTube. I know there's just weird stigma around, ad revenue and all this stuff. But I'm like, man, get that motherfucking money. That's what I'm saying. And it's not to say you should be you shouldn't be a scumbag. Right. You shouldn't do shit that's going to fucking devalue other people or hurt other people. Or that's the problem now, is there's this huge gray area of people that have no talent that are just being outrageous to try and make money, and they're succeeding. Right. And it's creating a whole market of garbage that for some reason is being consumed at an unbelievable rate in creating superstars out of otherwise undesirable people, I think, which is bizarre. And I'm not trying to say I'm better or above anyone else. Like, I'm just a fucking random dude that like makes a few videos in his basement. But I don't know, the more and more I dig into YouTube and like make videos on other creators, like the one I just did today on this guy Bunk on Instagram, like it makes my skin crawl, because he's literally just like inconveniencing everyone around him and being a complete prick, and he's making money and getting fame from it.
That's what they do. I mean, there's so many people who do it. It's annoying as shit. But there's no way to stop it. There's an ass for every seat.
There's not, because this is the thing. It's the market fucking wants what it wants, right? And if there's clearly there's a demand for this kind of outrageous content, because it's being eaten the fuck up. I worry about how, not to again sound like a fucking old guy, but I kind of am. I worry about how younger generations are growing up with this being normalized, and how it's just continuing to exacerbate this kind of what I think is like a defiance problem. It's just these people think that they don't have to take responsibility for their actions, that nothing they do matters as long as it gets views. And it's bullshit. Like, and I worry, as someone who wants to have a family soon, like, how the fuck am I going to raise a kid in this landscape? I'm fully immersed in YouTube, and like, I'd be worried about my kid young trying to make his way, learn for himself, like seeing some of this shit online that I see. I'm like,
one day he just starts dabbing on you one day, and you're like trying to figure out what the fuck happened, Where did I go wrong?
If my son ever came home and I tried to discipline him and he just fucking dabbed on me, and he'd be going down the basement stairs.
Every day, bro. It's every day, bro. Come on, Dad. What's the matter with you? You kind of just answered the question, but one of the things that I had was biggest detriment to YouTube and to the whole creative, I hate to say creative process, but integrity of YouTube, whatever you want to call it. Is that the single biggest detriment, or do you see like a singular person at the center of it? What do you think the biggest problem is?
Kind of like as far as a consequence of this social media thing is concerned.
Right, yeah.
Say, I don't know exactly. I think part of it is, again, with younger generations. Like, I'm right at the cutoff of, someone that grew up without a cell phone, without social media until I was in college, and it didn't really take off until after I was in college. And it was just a different life back then. Like, you had to carry yourself differently. Like, you had to. Like, I just feel like people are losing respect for just other people. Like, and we've become so self-absorbed, and, fucking me notwithstanding, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're trying to build a brand or make money online, it's like you have to fucking be inside your own head all the time and worrying about yourself. And it's like, I think it takes away oftentimes from being able to experience other pleasures in life that aren't on a fucking phone or a computer screen. Right. And that bothers me. And I very often find myself, like, for me, one of the detriments from YouTube is, and you hear this from a lot of YouTubers. It's like, you're growing a big audience. Like, some of these YouTubers have 1, 2, 3 million subscribers, 4 million more. And they're like, I'm so fucking lonely. They just they get really lonely because you're spending so much time like in your office or editing, and
it's all you're doing.
It's just weird. Like, so you're building all these connections, but are you really building real connections with people in your real life? Because I think as humans, we gravitate towards having connections with other humans. And there's so much surface level shit that goes on the internet, so much topical connections that make you feel good in the short term, but it kind of creates this emptiness in this well of desire to have actual connection, I think, in real life. And I think a lot of kids growing up, I mean, you see depression is like rampant, and depression is like, that's the thing now. Everybody's depressed.
Yeah. And God, everybody's depressed.
I think that's a consequence of where we're going as a human race. And I'm not the type of guy that's going to be like, oh, I wish it could be like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we're going downhill. I'm like, no, we're evolving. We're evolving as a human race.
There's simply no balance to it yet. There's no balance.
Yeah, becoming technologically dependent, and it's changing the way humans are wired. And these fucking kids growing up now, they just feel depressed because they see everything they see all day long. They're swiping, they're on their phone, they're seeing people with these beautiful pictures, these Lamborghinis, all this money, and it makes them feel insignificant. It makes them feel like shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, as an adult now, as a 32-year-old that has, you know, God bless my parents, had a wonderful upbringing, a wonderful family life. I'm very blessed the way I was raised. I have a lot of confidence. I have like this moral foundation, this fiber that helps me kind of delineate and really look at it objectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why so many people, I think, are suffering or feel like they're suffering in this world, when really there's just so much, I think, around to be thankful for and to be happy for and to just want to live for and to want to pursue. It's incredible the opportunity we're afforded in this life as a human. I mean, you have one shot. We're here for a fucking blip on the radar of evolution, and it's like people are wasting it being sad and angry that they're alive. It's just, it blows my fucking mind.
It makes no sense.
So,
it really
and rant,
doesn't.
dude. I'm sorry.
No, that was fantastic. And I 100% agree with you, because there was a time, look, keeping up with the Joneses and all that, it always fucking existed, but it existed in a much smaller scale. When you saw it in magazines or on television shows, it was different. You really had to seek it out. Now you're inundated with it everywhere. There's constant reminders that you're simply not doing enough with your fucking life.
It's being shoved down your throat at every turn.
Yes.
Literally.
There's no balance to it. It's like we went from one extreme to the other, and we don't know how to get to that balance because everybody is so caught up in being caught up. It's really fucking crazy to watch. I agree. Sometimes I like being an old man.
Then that's, so to come full circle, that's, I think, for me, is one of the biggest detriments, is just that kind of that crushing pressure of trying to be super involved, but not letting, you know, my life just kind of like slip away, and, you know, just spending all of my days worrying about impressions or subscribers or blah, blah, blah. As with everything in life, it's finding a balance, but it's just so much easier said than done.
Yeah, agreed. That was, people are in the chat right now basically giving you a standing ovation. That was fucking beautiful. It was absolutely perfectly said. Perfectly said. Going to a little more frivolous. Proudest moments on YouTube. Proudest moments in your creating career.
Oh man, let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going right from one place to the other. Let's go to a different side of the brain now. Talk about yourself. What are you proud of yourself?
I don't know. I think one of the things I'm proudest of for me is the resilience and the stick-to-itiveness. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people that were me when they're 27, 28, 29 and had tried YouTube, had failed, and like wouldn't have taken 2 years to fucking sit in your third story bedroom at 2 a.m. in the morning, learning how to edit, learning how to produce, spending hours a day, you know, trying to get better at your craft so you could eventually, who knows when, somewhere down the road, maybe make some content that was entertaining and maybe make it into a hobby / profession, make a little money. Like, that's the goal. And that's my proudest thing, is I think just the progress and like that I've made. And, you know, with the amount of times that I have tried something and completely and utterly failed, which is a lot. Nobody sees that though. That's the whole point. Nobody's seeing it because you're trying all these things to fail. Just kind of fucking trying something new, getting back up, doing it again until you find that one thing that really clicks. And I think for me, as weird as it is, as a fucking 30-plus-year-old, like stumbling into this, I guess what we call the commentary community and building relationships there, and really taking, like I said, letting the blinders down and just kind of being myself, that's probably my biggest accomplishment. But as far as videos go too, one of my favorite ones early on was I was just starting to get a little traction in my YouTube videos, and there was this was right around like the whole Leafy is here, fucking no chin, like is $20 okay thing was a meme.
Nick Cash. Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, and I just made a video titled, you know, Leafy is here, has no chin, and something super clickbait title, picture Leafy, and then that video is just me rickrolling the whole world. And this was like, I literally just fucking danced to fucking the rickroll for the whole video, and it 12 years after rickrolling was cool. Right. I don't know why I loved that so much, but like it's probably the stupidest video I've ever made. But
sometimes you gotta enjoy the little things, man. It's the little things.
Yeah. It was also the first time I think I ever ate Nigel out on camera, so that was a pretty, pretty defining
special moment. Holy shit! First, but certainly not the last. Who is the best creator, your favorite creator going right now?
Oh shit, this is such a tough question for me.
I'm a cunt.
I don't know. It's tough, man. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but as far, you know, it's cliche to say iDubbbz, obviously, and I love what iDubbbz does, but I don't necessarily think he's the best. I think he's good at what he does.
Right.
But he's, you know, it's the idea of like fucking literally making a video that's causing people to hemorrhage subs and lose money and ruin their career. Like, I'm not even like a huge fan of that, really. Like, even if I think you're a piece of shit, and like, as long as you you're a rice scum, you're not really. Maybe you're a little unsavory. You've made some fucked up mistakes, but I don't want to see you fucking get destroyed and have your career fall off. But that's
right. No,
but yeah,
it is a
probably
byproduct.
Lord Vega is probably one of the best.
I can't wait to see his next video in 2 years. No, he's spelling out his name right fucking now because that is Vega. My God.
No, let me tell you. So as far as someone who makes consistent content, there's a guy named Andrew Huang who recently passed 1 million subscribers. He's a musician, and he is on the fucking grind, dude. And he makes awesome videos. They're almost always music related. He has like 15 albums on Spotify, and he's just constantly crushing and like really clever and really professional the way he edits his videos. And if you like music related content, highly recommend him. Andrew Huang. That's Huang. And really, really cool dude. So I watch him pretty regularly. I don't know, dude. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's tough too. Like at least with my schedule and with trying to make a lot of YouTube content, I feel like I don't have a lot of time to consume a lot of YouTube content either. So like even some of my best friends that like I know make awesome videos, like Elvis the Alien, I think makes incredible videos.
Fantastic,
love his stuff. Always funny, edited well, very topical, very good at it. But it's like sometimes it'll be like a week and a half before I even get a chance to sit down and watch it, because it's like, I don't know. I'm like, fuck, 14 minutes. I'm like, I don't know if I have 14 minutes right now. I can sit down, but I don't want to fucking skim through it. So yeah, Elvis, Bionic Pig, a lot of these guys I'm big fans of. Fucking iDubbbz, Vega obviously makes. I'm forgetting 1 million people. I love. Yeah. There's so many YouTubers I like. I'm just not really good at thinking about it on the spot.
Well, fair enough. I got one more for you, and we'll get out of here on this. You said the big C word a moment ago, and we actually went the entire video without using the big C word. Commentary community. What do you think about it? What's the nature of it? And is it actually killing YouTube?
No, it's not killing YouTube. I mean, I think there's 1 million communities more cancerous in the comment community. As hard as that is to believe, maybe, but
beauty community. I'm telling you, dude.
I think there's a lot of different perceptions with the commentary, and I include myself in that just because I don't know what else to call it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not. Like, commentary is everything. It's anyone that's making a video about something that's not 100% originally theirs. You're commentating, or you're commenting on a specific circumstance or a specific event. News is commentary about what's going on in the world. Like, so for people, you know, that I think there's this connotation though, where there's a lot of people that are, you know, in the so-called commentary community that have seen people like Leafy explode and make all this money, and see people doing well that are making videos that just frankly are not that good because they either don't have the practice, they don't have the talent, they don't have the experience yet to make entertaining videos. So it's kind of, it gets saturated with content that is not very fun to watch.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you should stop making videos. That means you should fucking get better and continue and et cetera, et cetera. But you know, I think it's great. I mean, if you're a dude, I love the idea. And let me tell you this, like one of the first videos I made in the fucking commentary community was about, it was a video about Leafy. This is back when he was going nuts, like making hundreds, you know, he was going to
be the next PewDiePie. He was
making couple $100,000 a month. And I just made a video about it because for me, someone who's, you know, worked pretty hard my whole life to get by, you know, I've had a lot of different jobs. I've done a lot of different things, and I have a lot of pride in the fact that I've always been able to do what it takes to support myself and my needs. But all of a sudden, like I'm watching this dude and I'm like, this dude isn't that talented. His editing is so-so. Like his videos are and he's making fucking 6 figures a year. It's incredible.
Right.
It's fucking incredible. Why the fuck can I not do this right now? So like I made that video just kind of analyzing that situation. Like, wow, it's remarkable that really with the right set of circumstances and a little bit of know-how and you know, hard work. And in Leafy's defense, like he was grinding. He was making videos every single day. He was constantly putting them out. And regardless of whether you liked him or not, like he was working hard at it and it paid off for him. He became a fucking millionaire at like 19 years old. So that, fuck, I go off on these tangents and I forget what the original question was.
We love your fucking tangents, man.
But as far as the, you know, the commentary community goes, I think it's cool, man. If you have the talent and the time and the dedication to be able to sit down in a chair and talk about shit that's going on and get people to enjoy that, then I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. Leon, I cannot thank you enough for being here with me, man. It's been an absolute blast. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. And hopefully everybody in the chat enjoyed it enough to at least, as Leon likes to say, smash that fucking like button. No, look at him. Oh, look at that. Pun him.
Yeah, I want you to hip thrust that motherfucking like button from my man Dave over there. That's right. Yeah, you get it good. Yeah, dude, it's been a pleasure, man. I think you're fantastic in my experience from what I've seen of you, and now having been on a show with you. You're really good at interviewing and asking leading questions, and you're very easy to talk to, and I appreciate you having me on, man. I wish you all the best in your future.
I appreciate that, man. Hopefully I can get you on again at some point. It'd be great so you can try to drag me up that fucking mountain with you. That would be fantastic. Because as I always say, remember, if you don't have talent, have talented fucking friends, because it works out quite well most of the time. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Have yourselves a fantastic night, right, and we will see you next time. And peace. Hey guys, make sure you hit that subscription button. Look at me dance. Look at me dance.